Donald Trump was disappointed, angry even. He'd asked America's closest allies to send warships to help liberate the Strait of Hormuz from Iranian control. And one by one, they said no. Germany said no, England said no, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, the Netherlands all no, Japan, South Korea, Australia no. The European Union declined. The NATO Secretary General declined. They all said the same thing. They preferred diplomacy over military intervention. Trump warned he wouldn't support NATO troops in return. He blamed the allies for refusing to help. But the question remains, why did they refuse? Let's break down the reasons. Reason 1. Fear of World War. Think about it. Every country with real military power, especially NATO members, looked at this situation and saw danger. They saw the US and Israel already fighting Iran. That's a bilateral war. Two sides. But if they send warships, if they put their flags next to America's in the Strait of Hormuz, that changes everything. Suddenly, it's not America versus Iran anymore. It's the world versus Iran. And when the world lines up against one country, you get pictures that look like World War II coalitions. These nations remember history. They don't want to repeat it. Even if Russia and China can't directly intervene in Iran right now, the imagery alone, multiple global powers fighting together, that's the imagery of a world war. And nobody wants that. Reason 2. The China factor. Taiwan. Here's something the European leaders are thinking about quietly. If they send warships to the Middle East, what does China do? China watches, China waits, and China sees an opportunity. Because if Western powers are distracted in the Strait of Hormuz, maybe Beijing decides it's time to make a move on Taiwan. Think about the timing. Trump's already in a trade war with China. Relations are strained. European countries are trying to maintain trade partnerships with Beijing while also supporting America. It's a balancing act. But here's the hard truth European leaders understand. They do not want to give China an excuse. If they send ships to help Trump liberate the strait, China can say, see, the West is joining America's competition against us. We have to respond. And where does China respond? Taiwan. Taiwan's economy is massive. If China reunifies with Taiwan, Beijing becomes an even stronger global power overnight. That changes everything. So European leaders, Australia, Japan, they all made the same calculation. Better to stay out of Hormuz than to lose Taiwan. Better to let America handle this one alone than to give China the opening it's waiting for. Reason 3. Russia and Ukraine. Europe's front door now. Let's talk about Europe's real priority right now. Russia. While America's focused on the Strait of Hormuz, European leaders are focused on their own border. Because Russia is still in Ukraine. And Russia is still pushing. If European nations send warships to the Middle East, they're diverting resources. They're splitting attention. And Russia notices. Moscow watches. Moscow waits. And Moscow thinks, maybe now's the time for a major offensive. Think about what happens if Ukraine falls. Russian troops don't stop at the border. They keep moving. Suddenly, Poland is worried. The Baltic states are worried. Finland and Sweden, who just joined NATO, are worried. For European leaders, defending Ukraine against Russia is not optional. It's existential. It's protecting their own homes. So when Trump asks for ships in the Strait of Hormuz, they have to ask themselves, what's more important, helping America in the Middle East or stopping Russia at our front door? The answer is obvious. Even Finland and Sweden, who actually share borders with Russia, told Trump no. Their explanation? They're protecting their territory from Russian incursion. They don't have resources to spare. Reason 4. The unpath diplomacy over wars. The fourth reason. And it's important. These allied nations genuinely believe there's another way, a diplomatic way. Iran seizing the Strait of Hormuz violates international law, specifically the 1982 Law of the Sea. That law is clear. International navigation routes have been used for centuries. No country can claim them as exclusive territory. They belong to the world. So European powers, especially the UK and France, who are permanent Security Council members, want to take this to the United Nations. They want a resolution. They want global condemnation. They want international action against Iran. And here's the interesting part. It might actually work. Just last week, the Security Council passed a resolution condemning Iran's missile attacks on Middle Eastern countries. The resolution noted that Iran hit refineries, storage facilities, airports, civilian targets. And crucially, China and Russia didn't veto it. They let it pass. That's a signal. It suggests Moscow and Beijing might not block future action against Iran either. So European leaders think, why rush into war when we can win diplomatically at the UN? The military reality on the ground now. while allies are saying no. America is moving forward alone, as forces have launched intensive bombing campaigns against Iranian Revolutionary Guard positions. Storage facilities in the Strait of Hormuz area have been hit, missile launch sites destroyed, as warplanes dropped 5-kilogram bombs on Iranian air defense systems along the coast. 2 American minesweepers are clearing naval mines from the strait right now. Reports indicate Iranian defenses have sustained serious damage. Analysts believe US forces will likely secure the strait through military action alone without allied help. What happens next? Even if America wins militarily, the Allies haven't given up on diplomacy. They plan to take Iran's actions back to the UN Security Council, push for a binding resolution imposing international measures, diplomatic pressure to prevent future seizures. The 1982 UN law of the sea is on their side. International straits cannot be claimed by any nation, period. The bottom line is, why did allies refuse Trump? 4 reasons. 1. They're terrified of sparking World War III. A bilateral war with Iran is bad enough. A multilateral war with global powers lining up, that's a catastrophe. 2. They're watching China. They know Beijing is waiting for an excuse to move on Taiwan. They won't provide that excuse. 3. They're defending Europe from Russia. Ukraine comes first. Their own borders come first. The Middle East is a distant second. 4. They believe in the UN path. They think diplomacy can work. They think international law matters. And recent UN votes suggest China and Russia might actually let it happen. So no, they won't send warships. They'll explain their position to Trump. They'll say, we're not abandoning you. We're prioritizing global stability. We're protecting our regions. We're pursuing diplomatic solutions. And meanwhile, American forces keep bombing. The Strait of Hormuz remains a battlefield. The UN Security Council prepares to meet again. The world watches. Tensions rise. And international law hangs in the balance.